all to be decided. We've got to make it spiffy because I'm seeing the back of bedroom. I'm seeing a bit of Scott's is lounge
just
room.
wave.
So
Wave.
We've got some.
She's giving you guys the finger.
Wow, that's
The girlfriend.
that's
Fiance. Fiance. It's not a
Fiance. Wait.
girlfriend.
yeah. HughZ forever alone.
It's okay.
Anyway.
It's okay.
All right.
It's alright. My Tinder profile, though, one day it'll pay off.
That is the best bit of banter I think I've ever heard in any bit of commentary ever.
Maybe we should put your Tinder profile on the overlay.
We could if I had one, but I haven't reached that stage of desperation yet.
Oh, okay. Is it desperation or is it just efficiency? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean it's up to you.
In before HughZ changes his name to Desperado HughZ.
That'll be Citadel Desperado, HughZ.
Actually, you've already got a good Tinder name because people could misread it as HughZ.
Oh my god.
Just change the E to a D and I'll be a shit.
Oh my god. Alrighty, let's get this started, shall we? Right, 3, 2, 1, let's go live. And here we are. Cool. Hello, people.
Beans of cool.
Beans
Isn't that like in
of
normal?
cool.
Hey,
Hello.
cool beans. I know you say cool beans. Do you say cool bananas?
Sometimes, quite a lot, when I'm looking for a substitute.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds like a deadly salad.
Queens, it does. Alrighty, let's.
Right. Don't mean to throw you off, host. Go for it.
That's alright. We normally have like a little bit of warm up time where we like just talk to the chat, let people come in, let them know that we're streaming, and then we get to the good stuff.
Do you know the best way to make cool beans? By mixing them with an iceberg lettuce.
What?
Really? Really, we're gonna start on that? That's the first
Great
thing
way
we're
to
gonna
start
hear?
stream.
Yeah, crack.
You guys didn't hear it, but before we started streaming, literally within that 1 minute where I typed in chat, that was the funniest thing.
Alrighty.
HughZ, do the shirt show off.
Is this? Are we
Like
shamelessly promoting each other's brands?
Yeah.
I've got one for you guys. There you go.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's the dream
I
one.
want one of those.
That's the dream one.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, I'm just sitting here with a StarCraft
Well,
shirt. That's
speaking
so
of-
relevant.
Speaking of Smite World Championships and Pro League and stuff, how did everyone enjoy the casting of the Pro League Qualifiers today?
It was good. I think we all did a lot better than last week. I mean, we were all thrown off because of like the instability of the spectator client, but I think today was hands down the best broadcast that we've ever all done, to be honest.
I would agree. I would very much agree. Knightfall yourself, you've lifted in. I didn't expect you like after last week's broadcast. I expected everyone to go back down to that level and slowly climb up. But we've gone back. Like if at the end of the invitational ladder we were here, and then we went back down to here, we've come back up to here.
Oh,
So
yes.
good
Fist
job.
pump for
Everyone
that.
did a really good job today.
Yeah, it was really fun as well. And the games were even more hype. They sort of just like fueled us today. That was awesome.
Like cameraman
Tight
needs to do better work.
tight
Though.
matches.
The cameraman.
Please hope that Steve is not in the chat.
He's here.
Oh, he is.
So this just in, Cyanide and Yons will be having a meeting post-stream to discuss Yons' future with Cybergamer.
Ugh.
I don't know. What did you guys think of today's games, our broadcasting? Is there anything that you guys, with all respect to us as casters as well, what things that we should be working on? Because I like to hear stuff. I like if chat has good stuff to say, it's generally actually really, really good, rather than just the casters are bad.
I think the only thing that we can improve on is just the next level stuff of getting our casting to the level that we see on Smite Game regularly and in the SPL and stuff. And a little bit, as we said, the cameraman and stuff. Like, I mean, you have to understand Cyanide is new to the game and it's difficult to adapt to and learn a new game and be there for all the little parts and preempt when things are going to happen. But I think the only place we can go from here is up. We can only get better from here.
It'll take time.
Do a fundraising for better mics. Thanks to Vane. Me and
Sure,
Timmy will
but
be
we can
getting
look
better
at working
mics.
something out.
We've got a whole lot in store for you guys. Speaking of which, shall we go on to the golden news right now, or shall we leave it at just a little
No,
bit?
heck no.
No?
Tease it. We haven't even introduced. Rank hasn't even done the theme song yet.
That's true. Introductions. We fully.
And I'd like you guys
skipped
to
it.
actually recap today's results.
Okay.
because
Yep.
Oh,
We'll
those
stick to the
newcomers-
agenda. Okay.
Berzerk's
let's-
just sitting here. Just
so
like,
rank-
no, let's...
Go with the theme song.
It's the Upside Podcast, yeah!
That one had more heart in it than the other one, so nice one. Okay, so joining us today, I am Knightfall. I will be your host today, quote unquote. I'll do my best to try and not sound boring. And our usual guest today will be Rankonius. It will be also HughZ.
Hello.
And our special guest today will be Berzerk. Do you wanna just
Hello.
go through what you do, and then we'll head over to Yons?
Well, I'm an account manager at Surprise Attack, which is the team that's working with HughZ to bring you all the Smite action. So I was brought on last year for basically because of my esports experience. I've been working in esports for some time, and as a hobbyist, former pro gamer in the fighting game scene, and an organizer. And yeah, so my first mission was to get some tournaments going, and that's where Tony comes in, because I thought that Cybergamer would be the perfect partner to set that up and work with. I had some conversations and got it going pretty quick. Smart, they've done a great job and got you guys involved, and it's going pretty well so far. We've been pushing it from community, like that Facebook group is powering along really nicely, and we've got guys like Giles involved with the whole scene, really, with the CG Smite Twitter recently, but also through the Reddit channel. So I'm pleased to see the community come together, but my job is mainly to help you guys do what you do, and other people in the community, the teams and the organizers, to facilitate all the cool things that can happen in Smite in Australia.
Awesome.
So that's it in a nutshell.
And we also have joining us today is Yons.
Hi guys, how's it going?
Do you want to go through what you do as well?
I'm a project lead at Cybergamer, so I look after the sponsors, our partners, our clients like Daniel there. We help him with I help him with the Dirty Bomb and the Smite stuff. Make sure that we deliver what he's after for his clients as a middleman between Cybergamer and him. So yeah.
Awesome. So first on the agenda today is the results of the Pro League Qualifiers. So we did discuss it very shortly there, but we do have some brackets to go through. Do you want to go through day one, or just skip day one and go straight to day two, see who's going to Pro League?
Let's go to day two. I think
Okay.
there's too many teams in day one.
Sure.
So
We
do
did
go
touch
through.
on day one at the start of things today as
Yeah.
well, so...
That's true.
Was there a really key upset for you guys out of day one before we go to day two? That's something I'm curious to
Key
know.
upsets on-
And do you think, just the sideline question to that is, do you think that there are any teams that are going to likely come back through open and be a threat again later in the year?
For me, on day one, I think it was all pretty expected. Group D was the most evenly dispersed in terms of talent, I think, of all those group stages. All the other groups really played out in the manner in which we expected. But from Group D, we had Ivory, Forsen Boys, Glorybound, and Team Skyfire, all of whom were pretty close in terms of skill level and also in the wins and losses. And they were all pretty even there. I don't think anything else was a surprise. But as for today, and your second question, anyone who I think will come back through the open ladder and be a threat, got to be Ivory. We saw how close they were at the end there with Silicon, and I think they can make a real push for it the more that they improve throughout the season. And you have to remember, they only picked up Jack47, their jungler, a couple of days ago. And so that team synergy and chemistry is not going to be there as much as it would be with an established jungler. And once they get all that synergy coming online, they can be a real threat to any of these Pro League teams.
Definitely agree
Cool.
there. I think Glorybound was the community favorite to go through to day two, but it was Ivory and Forsen Boys. Yeah, Forsen Boys really showed up, and they actually did quite well today. They went 1-5-1. Did they not play the other matches? Let me
They
refresh.
forfeited their last two matches because their players
no.
couldn't be there.
Oh, that's unfortunate. They did take a game off. Who was it? Where is it?
Cognitive
Cog.
Click.
Cog. Oh wow.
Now that's the
That's
real
big.
surprise, I think, of this whole tournament is Cognitive Click not making it through to the Pro League. They were an invite ladder team, and the fact that they got dethroned essentially by Law Gaming and Synapse was a very big upset, I think, to a lot of people. And they actually didn't perform extremely well today. They went only 1-6, only picking up the one win against Sky Dragons, who were the bottom place team. And yeah, that's got to be a real shock to everyone in the community.
Yeah, I can definitely agree there. It was statistically they should have gone through, and everyone had them as their third place seed to get through, but Law actually showed up today. Law Gaming taking that third seed and Silicon with the fourth seed. So for those of you who weren't able to catch all the good action, TCAM went 7-0. Synapse was second, tied, or actually the other three were tied at 5-2. Synapse, Law, and Silicon, and they will all join. Avant, Direwolves, Too Edgy, and I'm missing one.
Come on, Knightfall. I'm right here.
I'm missing
Citadel.
one. Is it Citadel? Just teasing you, just teasing you. So that'll be the 8 teams in the Pro League.
No,
And-
it wasn't just Citadel. It was just Laney.
Hey. He's a player on the team. Alrighty, so I think of the teams that went through today, Team Kamikaze really set themselves apart from all the rest, going through undefeated, and they were a strong invitational ladder team. And I think once they kind of get themselves, they did go through a roster change during the Invite League with Gruff Dogger leaving and getting Picklefinger in there as support. Gruff has gone on to form his own team in the form of Too Edgy, who combined with Exhilarated. And so I think once Team Kamikaze, once again, it comes down to that team synergy and chemistry, just being together and playing with each other a lot. Once the new Team Kamikaze roster settles down a bit more, and I think this tournament will go a long way towards that, once they play together a lot and scrim and get all those intangible things online, there'll be a real threat to the top level teams. As well as that, like Law Gaming, if they show up in the Pro League like they did today, they surprised a lot of people today, and I'm sure they could surprise a lot of those Pro League teams.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, perfect analysis on point. I think, for me, the story of the day has got to be COG. Team that was picked up by Cognitive Gaming. These guys have been training hard. They've got the advantage of at least being able to access, if not, they should have been able to access some of the intel that Cognitive have been putting forward, especially on towards this patch. COG Crusaders yesterday played off to see if they could get through to playoffs to get into the SPL. And unfortunately, we were brought down by High Five in their original best of 5 in a 0-3. So High Five walked away with that one and moved on with the relegation spot. So they had a little bit of intel going their way, I think, that they really could have been able to use on towards this patch. Some of the drafting phases that come out of some of these teams, Synapse, is it Synapse? No, it was Ivory. Ivory in particular, with their constant pickup of the Arnis and the solo lane and different sorts of mid laners, long-range snipe mid laners, was a little bit different. And I think they're a solid team when you can sit down and prepare for that, and I think they're really, really good in a league sort of style scenario. But they fell apart when it come down to a one-day competition. There's the thing about cheese; it works in one-day competitions. It does not work in the long time. You can pull it out once in a pro league, and then you got to put it to bed, and that's the last time you'll ever be able to use that. Well, Ivory, they pulled out all their chips. They threw everything at qualification today. And Cogcliff were upset by that.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying that Ivory might be exposed once they go into Pro League because you said they threw everything at it? Or do you think they got more depth?
Jack plays an exceptional Bologna. Take Bologna away from them and they're already in trouble. Everyone's going to be prepared whenever they play against Ivory in future now, against Synchro, to play against mages in the solos, so he's never going to get that sort of blind, I'm prepared for this. He's going to get a lot of aggression played against him, and you can see towards the back end of the day that Silicon, in their last game of the day, were prepared for it, and were ready to do so, diving very early on with Kabrakan and Odin over on towards that solo lane tower and picking up the first blood. Just insane the amount of pressure that they were able to put on the right-hand side of the map, and they were prepared for it. They're better prepared. They had the comps. They were like, okay, they're going to run a mage in the solo. We'll just run Odin. Bring them off. We'll just run Odin, Kabrakan, and Ymir. Get really, really tanky so that they can't burst us down. Their initial burst combos won't do it. They have to land that combo on either Just Rogue's Scylla or onto Ranabarana's Aula. And if they don't find either of those two with a burst combo that worked for them earlier in the day, then, you know, it's kind of just all over. That was the major problem with Ivory's draft in the last game.
I don't think it was necessarily cheese what they did. It was just kind of like a different kind of strategy, and because a lot of teams are still coming to terms with this new meta, this, as I like to call it, season 2.1, you know, pulling out unexpected things like that, as I said, may not be a long-term solution, but it's still legitimate strategy. I think where they really struggled in that last game was, as I mentioned during the cast, they didn't have enough control. And Synchro wasn't in enough of the fights, and he was a major damage output for him. Mouse put out a nice amount of damage. He did what he needed to do, and he did it very well. He used a lot of his heals to keep his teams in fights, but even still, the damage output you get on a roll isn't enough to really carry your team over the line. Rob Diggity did some nice work with his Medusa, but once again, it wasn't enough to fully carry that team. I think it's going to start becoming apparent. You can't just play utility in the mid. You really need that lane to be not necessarily a carry, but to put out a good amount of damage and have some kind of area or burst potential.
Yeah, today was quite interesting. I think a lot of people, the reason why we're not talking about TCAM for those of you in chat and watching on YouTube is because they went 7-0, but it was just everyone expected it, so it wasn't really a big deal to everyone. Of course, it was great play coming from them, but they're easily top 5 in all of Oceania, because obviously statistically they are in the top 5. But it wasn't a big deal so much, but it should be a big deal. Winning 7-0 against 7 other teams is awesome.
Consistency. When you think about TCAM, consistency is always something that comes to mind when they're playing against all sort of teams. They don't really have games where anyone goes out of their way to carry hugely and just be this really, really big player that we know that maybe Rana Barana or Just Rogue can be sort of from Silicon. They don't have major cheese. I mean, Tompo, yeah, kind of has the Fenrir, but there's nothing like a Giannis in the solo coming through. They're just consistent across all forms, and they're prepared to play that style of game. They're prepared to throw, oh, look, we've got a random draft this game. Let's go with Kronos in the mid lane and give that to Divine because he can play such a great Kronos. That's about the only other time that you'll ever see that from them. That's why we were expecting them to come back. And they can do that. They can take games off the top teams. They can take a game off Avant. They can take a game off Direwolves. They don't really ever tend to win a set against those sorts of guys, but they will consistently take one game away from them. They'll put pressure back onto them. And because they're able to do that and then play at the same level against these lower teams without getting overconfident is an important factor when coming into a tournament like that. And that's why all of us were just considering, all right, yep, Kamikaze, they're just able to play at this level and play consistently at that level. Whereas you look at Silicon are all like, oh yeah, we can play totally up here, and Silicon can totally go toe-to-toe with some of the best teams, but does that Silicon turn up? Yes, no, maybe. You know, that's the best one.
And I think a lot of it goes towards Divine as well. Divine can play Thanatos mid in a ranked game and win. Thanatos mid, let me repeat that. Like, what? It works as well. It's because of the burst early game, just so you know. But Divine is such a hard carry. Red Oxide as well up there, but the entire team coming together to come 7-0 today. So well played to them. So that will be all 8 teams listed once again. Will be in order: Avant, Direwolves, Citadel.
I think you went the wrong way around there, Knightfall.
What? How?
Direwolves Avant.
No, Avant came out first because they won the tiebreaker.
Oh yeah, that's right. They won the tiebreaker.
Yeah, so Avant, Direwolves, Citadel, Exhilarated, but now too edgy. They were previously Exhilarated. They merged with Raiding Party. Yep, that's the new name. You should see their logo. It's even better than the name.
Where can I find the logo? I'm gonna need to use that soon.
I think it'll be on their Cybergamer profile.
It's on Cybergamer. It's on Cybergamer.
Okay, cool. And then the 5th seed is TCAM, and then it was Synapse, Law, and Silicon. So that will be our Pro League, which will start the week starting of the 20th. So the first broadcast will be the 26th, I think, the Saturday of that week. Yes?
Cool.
I think so, yeah.
Just doing the math. When's that? The 25th? 25th of
20
July.
25th?
2 weeks from now will
Is
be our
it?
first broadcast. Yes.
Saturday. That's
Yeah.
true. Yes. Yep. You
We
are
have
correct
next
there.
weekend off, and then we're straight back into it the weekend after.
I know. That's awesome. Like it's
That's
so
something
close.
to make clear to everybody is that we've all agreed that it's going to be a specific time, right? 6 p.m. Saturday and Sunday
Yep.
is Smite action.
Yep. The format will
So-
be best of 2 as well, just like every other SPL, although there'll be a few minor rule adjustments, but that will be released publicly this week sometime. Yeah, so I'm pretty hyped for that. 6 p.m. tune in on Team Down TV2, where most of you came from. Thank you for the host once again, Cyanide, for that. Yeah. Moving on, shall we? What else is here?
What else? What else indeed?
What else?
Daniel, what else is there to talk about?
Oh well. You want to go into the news?
The big stuff?
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
I think
what
we're all
have we got
hyped.
here?
Big stuff,
We've
let's
kind
go.
of talked about thoughts going into Pro League. I wouldn't mind hearing about. Look, when I tell you guys my news, you're probably not going to talk about anything else. So I want to hear a rundown of each of the top 8 teams. Like if each of you can give you like your 2-line summary of like maybe predictions, but you got 8 teams. If you were to sort of describe each of the teams, you can either give your prediction. This is just partly me doing my homework, but I want to know. I want to know, your thoughts on what characterizes each of these teams. I've been talking to a few of the teams, and I want to get to know more of them. And I know, like Avant Gaming are very, very serious. Direwolves are very, very serious. And Citadel, well, we're right here. In particular, very, very serious about the game, and very confident as well. So that's kind of cool. But I want to hear your reflections on where you think those teams are going to be, and what characterizes them as teams. Like whether they're strong in early game, or what is it? Great team dynamics. What is it that makes each of those teams worthy of Pro League, in your opinion?
I'll start off. So I've opened up a notepad file and started off. So Avant have such a massive strategical knowledge of the entire game, and it's really down to Ro. Ro does so much homework, and he's got these 4 other players, mechanical gods in the game, to come and bring those strategies to existence. And the drafts from them are amazing, and the plays, and just their overall strategical knowledge is beyond the rest of the teams. Of course, they are catching up though. The gap is being closed, and Avant have been around for such a long time. Only one roster change in the past 6 months. No, 9 months. Yes. So that's pretty massive. Direwolves, their early aggression is amazing. That's what they're known for back when they were Slap and Tickle, but then they got picked up by Direwolf sponsor. And yeah, their early game aggression and their duo lane brotherly love between Richard Castle and Kiki as well. That's what stands out the most for them. Sorry, after that was Citadel, wasn't it? I think you'll have to narrow that one down for me, HughZ.
Yeah, HughZ,
I don't-
this one's you.
I think for me, the thing that stands out the most is Laney's 80 carry.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'd like to give my 2 cents on the other teams as well. Avant, I think that defines them is planning and preparation. They know exactly what they want to do go into every game. Direwolves, it's chemistry. They play together so much. They all know innately what each other's going to do. Citadel, I mean, their counter, like they'll take advantage of mistakes other teams make, and you've got to play perfectly against them to beat them. And mainly the Avant managed to do that against them. We've got 2 Edgy. The thing that I think to talk about with them is talent. They've got Maxon on that team. They've got some guys from Exhilarated, from Prensel and El Curo. You've got Gruff Dogger as well, now known as Gruff, who was on Team Kamikaze. And he's switched to the 80 carry role. And you've also got Crazy Aussie in the mid lane, and all of those players tremendously talented. Looking towards these new teams, Team Kamikaze again, similar thoughts on them as I said earlier. in the discussion when we're talking about the teams that made it through today. Very similar to Edgy. Very skilled players. Just needs to be the team coming together in order to elevate them to that next level. The next couple of teams, Silicon, we've seen them in there a lot. I don't know. I think we'd have to pass off to Rank to talk about his team there.
The one thing, and my boys are going to hate me for saying this, but they 100% know it's true, and it's something that we've spent the last ages working on since we entered the Invitational League and through the loss of VAC. Consistency. Our consistency has not been there. Decisions to go all in, we tend to make them too often. To go all in on a Titan and leave it at 4% health. That's the big thing. I very much mirror Avant and Direwolves, your thoughts of those sorts of guys. Citadel are just consistency out and out. Let's go back to who else? Let's Team Kamikaze and Exhilarated. Exhilarated for me, unknown factor. That's the big thing that stands out for me. And again, I think consistency is going to be a part of their season. Are we going to see the talent come out? Are we going to see them all just suddenly go, oh, what are we even doing here today? That can happen in the space of any best of 2 series, and that can happen in game 1, and all of a sudden game 2 they're all showing up again. That's the problem with an unknown factor. Team Kamikaze consistency, I really want to see them lift, and I want to see some stellar standout performances from somebody on those teams this split. What else we got? We've got Law Gaming. I want to see some consistency, but the Law Gaming and Synapse both have players that are able to make big plays, make big calls, and they'll follow through on them and make them. Whether they can make them consistently is the difference. And again, Silicon Sports, they're a team full of names that can make or break a game based on whether they decide to go all in on a Titan.
Mm-hmm. I think the thing about Law is that we don't know too much about them, which is something that's really going to impact teams that are going to try to face them. Of course, they're going to scrim against each other and try to find out each other's tactics, where their strong points are, where their weaknesses are. But the thing is, we don't know that. That's the most interesting part, is they come in, they're brand new off the open ladder. They've actually been around for quite a while as well. Shield is a very recognized name in ranked quite a lot. Same as... I forgot the other one. Oh well, it doesn't matter. So it's that brand new, fresh meat to the Pro League that is really going to be interesting. It's something to watch out for.
Cool. Fresh meat.
Yeah.
Throw it to the lions in the arena.
Yeah.
Cool. The other little question I had, and this is kind of Rank, you reminded me when you were talking about the Silicon Boys. The interesting thing about those guys is kind of the storytelling across this season. Like, you've got teams. The thing that I've said to people when they say, "Hey, how's the Smite scene going?" And the thing that impresses me is that it's a young scene here in Australia, and you've got Australia and New Zealand, and you've got guys who've come together as teams, and from the early stages pre-invitational, then through the invitational, have pretty much stuck together. Avant Gaming's team had some, membership changes early on when they absorbed part of another team, but other than that, they've been really consistent. But that's what I'm interested in, whether it be roster shakeups, because obviously what we want to see is the strongest possible team getting selected to go overseas and represent Australia and New Zealand. So do you think that there's a super team in there, or it's Avant or it's Direwolves, or what do you guys reckon?
Citadel for sure. Just
Silicon can do it. Yeah, we can.
Am I the only unbiased person here, and what do we all do? Oh, Knightfall's so corrupt. Oh.
Yeah.
I kind of asked a question at once there.
I think the team to beat at the moment is Avant-Garde. Definitely.
Especially this patch.
Yeah, they were undefeated in the Invitational until the last game with Direwolves, and then they went on and won the tiebreaker and ended up being the number 1 seed going into the Pro League. And right now they're the team to beat. And the other Pro League teams really going to need to show up, do their preparation, do their homework in order to take them down. But they're asking for a super team. I don't know if they'd be the super team, but they're the one on the top at the moment.
Too edgy. If there is going to be a super team from this lineup, it's too edgy, because they've got the talent, they've got the ability. Can they bring it together? That's the story for me this split.
I really want to see. I'd like to see a more even ladder. I mean, like it's going to be difficult for all the teams to do it, but the closer the games are, the more hype, the better. The closer it is by the end of the thing, I want like more tiebreakers, essentially, just to see who's going to come out on top. Oh my god, it's so close. All those sort of matches, rather than it's the top seed versus the bottom seed. This will be a massive stomp, and predictability is, while good, it's not always that great. It just more upsets and stuff. The hype things brings more interest to the scene as well.
I think one of the big things to watch is when Avant and Direwolves play, right? If it's towards the back end of the split, I think the Direwolves are probably going to win it. But if it's in these next couple of patches with all the hog changes, I actually significantly favor Avant-Garde. Because, you mentioned it, homework. What does homework do very well? Well, back camps. Do you do a back camp start? Do you do 3-man split at the mana buff and then solo laner immediately goes to solo lane? That is something that Avant-Garde are very, very good at planning out, and expect Ro to come to the fore. Ro is, just watch him throughout the split. Whatever he's doing, he's got something going on right up here for every step of that game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think as well, Divers is at a bit of a disadvantage at the start of the season because their support, Richard Castle's actually traveling over in Europe, enjoying himself. But when he comes back, he's going to have to spend some time practicing and getting that team chemistry we mentioned so much back with his team. They've got a good sub in Rotten Melons in there who's going to be taking over for, I think, at the very least week 1, maybe week 2. But the early season Direwolves, they're going to need to be practicing a hell of a lot to get themselves to where they were at the end of the invitational ladder.
Hopefully he plays Ares from a castle over there. Sets up a laptop in a castle and plays Ares. That'd be great.
Maybe
That'd make a great video.
Maybe he'll have no escape from that castle.
Oh.
Yes, I had to get one in, at least one in this podcast. That was terrible, though.
Do you reckon he'll play around the dungeons with searing people's flesh?
Oh my god, that was a lot. That was better than my one. That was better than my one.
You guys have to put up with me for the entire split.
Are we done?
No.
I think we're done. Let's move on. Alrighty, so where are we now? Are we up to the big stuff? Are we up to the big stuff yet?
Let's
Daniel,
throw
can
it
we
out
do
there.
the big stuff? Yes!
So, what's going to be announced this week, and I'm sure there's going to be questions about the format and everything, because it's not completely finalised. But what is finalised, something that we were happy to hear that we're going to be able to do, is the prize money. So tonight's announcement is about how much prize money is on offer for the Oceania Regional Finals of PAX. Sorry, of Smite at PAX. Okay, so obviously
before we get in that, let's go into another subject that's been going on there, Reddit and stuff, is the lack of prizes.
Yons with the steal.
The steal, yes. The lack of prizes, the lack of funding throughout online stuff. I'll give you my 2 cents on why the funding's not for online. Maybe there's no gear prizes or a lot of gem stuff given away. Is the reason because the Australian esports is really, really small, and Smite is smaller than anything else. So giving funding to something like 20, 30 teams is not viable for any esports organization inside of Australia.
Mm-hmm.
The funding is not there to do something so crazy as you see over in America or over in the EU and stuff like that. It's just not there. Really, it's not there, but it's getting there slowly. But it'll come.
I hope so.
So yeah.
I hope so. One day we'll be there, but for now, we just got to start growing, guys.
Yons is right, and he's got lots of experience, like as an admin for LoL in its early days, and you know he knows the struggle of esports in Australia. So it's I think a lot of people in the Smite scene, and this is great in a way, but there's a lot of people who've seen how quickly it's grown out of the US, and you know it's a free-to-play game with a funding model built in. So there's a way for them to support their pro teams, and it grew really, really quickly. But from a natural perspective and also from HughZ's perspective, what they want is for the scene to grow at the right pace. And, you know, what they say is it went through a couple of years of beta and then they had their first season, and it took a lot of time to get to the point where they had a whole range of solid teams and they could actually call it a pro league. So they expect the same kind of growth period for Australia. They actually expect it to be slower than I think it really is. And that's fine. What people are excited by, of course, is, you know, you guys here in the Smite scene in Australia have been watching this happen all the time and feel like you're part of it already. So I can understand the anticipation for being part of Smite Season 2 prize money and so on. And what I'm happy to say is, while it's not at the level that they just announced recently, where there's multiple events and you're getting plenty of money and Pro League means you get paid all the time, it does mean that you are, if you're in Pro League or if you win through Challengers Cup and get to PAX, you will have a payday. So, you guys ready for me to talk about the payday?
Yes.
Let's go.
I'm prepared.
All right.
I think chat's ready. Yeah.
Yeah.
So a flight to Greece, somebody said. Nice one. Well, it is the home of the Pantheon, right? But the prize money as part of Smite Season 2 that's been allocated to Oceania is the equivalent of just over $50,000.
Wow.
What?
That's fantastic. That is insane for a first season for Australia. I was just starting to get into esports when Riot first launched. This is huge. That's insane. Great job, every single one of you out there.
So that's the prize pool for PAX.
That's right. So when we say, oh, is there going to be prize money for the Pro League? Well, sort of, because if you make it through Pro League at the high enough level, you will be qualified for PAX, and that guarantees you some money. Okay? So if you're at PAX, you get money. Doesn't matter what place you get at PAX, you will get money. You know, there's nobody going to PAX who's walking away with nothing.
Awesome.
I think it's fair to say that you'll walk away with at least $1,000, depending on the team's makeup. The reason I can't say exactly what the breakdown will be just yet, that's going to be fully announced soon. In fact, there's going to be some announcements in the coming week. Firstly, out of HughZ about Smite World Championships. That's all I can say. There's going to be some form of announcement. But for Oceania, I'm giving you the early news that we're going to announce to the media in the next few days this week. So yeah, $50,000 plus prize pool for PAX that will be split down the teams that are appearing at PAX.
And
now,
that's
how many teams are going to be there? Sorry.
Oh yeah, how many teams are going to be there?
At the moment, it's a guaranteed 4. We're working through exactly what our makeup of the PAX finals is going to be. If we can, we're going to extend it to 8 teams.
Oh,
8
awesome.
teams will be guaranteed money. Obviously, 5th to 8th place will be lower. But 1 to 4 will be a pretty significant split of that 50 grand.
Awesome.
that's
So,
huge.
That's what I'll leave you guys with. I'm really pleased to share that news. It's great for us as a scene, and I think it'll make a big splash for Smite in Oceania, in Australia and New Zealand.
Yeah, definitely. 50k prize pool for the first season of our competitive scene. That's huge.
So basically, minimum of that flight to Greece.
Well, it depends on if we're using drachma by that time. Terrible. Shout out to all our Greek friends. Yeah, no, it's going to be great. So I'm interested in your reactions and your thoughts on what you'd like to see from the PAX finals, and maybe who you expect to see. Let's say it's just 4. So if it's just 4, you're going to see the top 2 of this Pro League. We're going to have 8 teams play off for 7 weeks. 2 of them, the top 2 only, will get a guaranteed spot seeded into the PAX Regional Final. Then you have 6 teams getting relegated into the Challengers Cup, And just like we saw, we'll have a 2-weekend series where all of the Open Challenger teams will be added into the mix, and they will have to fight the 6 formerly Pro League teams, whoever they will become, and then only 2 more will make it through, and they will be guaranteed money alongside the top 2 Pro League teams. So that's where it is right now. What do you guys think about that?
I don't have words. That's awesome. 50k.
It's pretty exciting news for everyone. I think everyone's glad to see kind of that all in terms of pro players, that all their kind of efforts and hard practices and time they've put into this game is getting some kind of reward, some tangible reward for it, as well as that spot in Worlds we knew we had. And I think it's just going to add extra fuel to the fire, extra motivation for these teams going into the Pro League.
Mm-hmm.
And what I took from HughZ's comment was he said hard twice in a row.
There was always going to be prizes at PAX, cash prizes. It was on how much was going on skin sales inside of Australia, the season passes and all that kind of stuff. It was relying on the community's reaction to esports. So it's pretty much all the community that's done all the hard work for esports. We're buying all the skins, the season passes and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully next year will be bigger while the community grows. So, and instead of having,
that's important.
And instead of having 150k, we might have 2, you know what I mean? So, or more money over the year instead of one big lot at the end.
Well, they've gone ahead and said that's their plan, right? HughZ Stu has made that statement, and that's the intention from HughZ is to share the wealth across the year so that the teams that are actually pros, and at the moment that really means Europe and USA. But I think in Season 3, you know, if we put in a good showing and, you know, the Oceania scene represents really well, there's no reason to think that and, you know, and there's growth overall, that people are playing Smite continually, that this won't happen to be like a 3 times a year thing or something like that. Maybe not to this level, but yeah, I mean, this is the start of something good.
Yeah, I mean, we could next year, as happened with Riot Games and League of Legends last year, they held 3 splits, basically, with LAN finals at each of them. The first one was the first LAN I'd ever been to, was Supernova Gold Coast. Then they flew over to Supernova Perth for split 2, and that was the ones that went to Worlds that year. And then they finished up at PAX. So potentially that could be us next year. But as well, don't forget on the back of that, get all your friends into Smite, because every time they buy a skin or something, they like Thor. Get them playing Thor. They buy Blood Eagle Thor, then, you know, you're going to benefit off the back of that at the end of the day. By us growing the community and working together to teach those new guys how to play, you might find the next superstar, you might find the next wizard that moves over from LoL and suddenly smashes everyone out of the water. You know, and you've got your friends playing the game that you guys are wanting to play professionally. To me, that's the real achievement, if we can continue to do that as a community as well.
Something else I'd really like to see is players from OCE getting taken over to NA, like you would see in League of Legends. Let's compare. Let's say Keen from Gravity over in the LCS. He was an Oceanic player, and he now plays for an NA team. What if we see that in Smite? That would be pretty awesome. Seeing one of our own go over and play for a team.
The first thing that's going to happen, we should remind people that the prize money is not really the main prize, even though it's going to be very significant for the first place team especially. But the real prize is entry into Smite World Championships next year.
Yeah.
So we will see whoever comes first at PAX this year will go to Atlanta, and they will be playing at the Cobb Center with the other teams, just like we saw this year at Smite World Championships. So yeah, if you want to see some OCE players on the international stage, you're going to see it. It is an interesting question about whether people get recruited across into international teams individually. I don't know if we're there yet, but we're definitely going to see somebody on the stage at Worlds.
Mm-hmm. And that's so hype. I'm really keen to see who it is and hopefully get the chance to go over to Worlds and cheer them on there. I hope everyone was... If everyone could, that'd be awesome.
I hope they put the effort in as well for that reward, instead of just going over there as we've made it, let's just joke around and troll around. Hopefully they go over there seriously to
Yeah, it's
Because
not
well.
the higher rank they go, the more high rise you'll see, and the more the community you'll see. So the higher they go up in that ranking, the better it's for us in the long run.
Considering only one OCE team goes towards, there's going to be a lot of competition for that one spot. So any team that goes over there is going to have worked hard already to get there. There's no way you just give up those kind of patterns for any kind of tournament. So I'm sure any OCE team that goes over is going to be trying their best. Because even if you just take a game away from one of those NA or EU teams, or either the ones from China or Latin America and Brazil, that's tremendous for the OCE scene. Considering all those regions were in the World Championships last year, but I know like all of the teams that are in the Pro League in Oceania right now are going to be trying super hard, and the effort is there. I know at least for the teams that were in the Invite League, and I can only see that being multiplied for the Pro League.
And something else that happened actually last year, we're going to go back to League of Legends, of course, because it's the one that we actually have the best read on both MOBAs, the MOBA environment, and esports as a whole, because it's a very similar pattern. If you have a look at the teams last year that were competing for a spot, one of the teams actually managed to upset the major team that are now Chiefs, that were previously Team Immunity at that point last year, was Legacy, or at the time Avant-Garde. They upset the Chiefs to go get that spot to go to the international wildcards. So what did Chiefs do? They all piled in. They made sure that they were there. They were scrimming with them. They were giving that intel. And I can, like, the tightness of our scene as well here. That's something that's a real benefit of working in a smaller scene, is that you see all these relationships develop between the teams. Oh, look, all of a sudden, 2edgy are heading to Worlds. Well, Avant-Garde and Direwall's going to be there scrimming every day with them. They would go, right, you guys are going to Worlds. You guys are coming back with your names in the spotlights. We're going to make sure you play your hearts out. That will happen without a doubt, no matter who qualifies.
It's a good point, Rankin, and it has to happen. We are a small island. Like, we're a big island, but we're a small in world terms. Australia is 7% of the US population. That's another reason just to keep in mind that it's amazing that we're getting this much thrown at us for Smite at all. But the thing that teams from a professional perspective and from an international play perspective, you're going to have to be very serious. Like I was saying before, it's not a holiday. You're going to have to work hard. You'll enjoy it. It's going to be an amazing, fun time. But the hard thing is going to be adjusting. And I think I've gone overseas. I've done that experience. And the hardest part is adjusting, settling in, and then being able to play your natural game. And then beyond that, it's play styles of other players. And the fortunate thing for people in the Smite scene and in esports in the modern day is that you can see how your international competition plays. Scrimming with them is still going to be a different thing. The shock of real life play is real. But I think it's really important that the whole scene gets behind whoever goes and not be afraid of giving away tactics, because next year's a whole new ball game and everybody's going to have to level up. So it's important that our best team really is our absolute best.
Mm-hmm.
So are we going to send them over there for a boot camp for a week before Worlds, or are we going to send them like a day or two before?
No, they'll have a little bit of time. I don't know that information yet about how much time, but the way HughZ work is that they are all about developing teams and giving teams the right resources and the right access, and so that they can have access to the teams as well, to be part of the community and part of their presentation. You guys already know, of course, that they've actually created their whole studio over there. So, that's part of their DNA is what they do. So HughZ, I'm very confident, will look after the teams in that sense. That I think there will be a reasonable amount of buffer time to get in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I can tell you guys as well, like, whoever qualifies, I know all the challenger teams in North America. I know I can be able to get you guys scrims with the pro teams. Like, as soon as we know who's qualifying, I'll be hooking up and the times that we're landing and whatnot. I'll be starting to hook up scrims for you guys in advance, so you guys can land and you guys can just focus on your game and stuff like that as well. I want, and I think everyone here will want the same for you guys as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I saw a question about the prize pool earlier. Berzerk, will there be an Oceanic crowdfund? That's actually what's happened. We were expecting to do the prizing in another way initially, but I can confirm that there is a portion of the Summer of Smite and Season 2 Pass money that is actually funding this prize money for Oceania. So that's where it's coming from. So yeah, go ahead and keep buying those skins, and those contributions are part of it. I mean, we've actually had it set. It's now set. It's not going to change necessarily for Oceania this year, but it's still part of the model, and it's there for the future, I think. So yeah, I think that's good news. It's a better way to go.
Another question I've seen asked a couple of times about the PAX LAN event, and it's an important one in terms of the prize pool stuff as well. I know there's always, this is another comparison to NA and EU, but we've got a pro scene now and their pro scenes as well. But HughZ pays for their trips to the LAN events. Is that going to be a similar thing for the Oceanic teams, or will they have to make their own ways there?
Yes and no.
No. It's that's as I've said, as part of the prize. The team that wins at PAX is all expenses paid going to Atlanta.
Oh no, for the teams just going to PAX though.
The qualified teams for PAX.
For the
teams going to
regionals
PAX.
at PAX. For the 4 to 8
see.
teams going to PAX.
Yep. Okay, so we've had some discussions about that, and there was some consideration put to whether we should add prizing to Pro League and Challengers Cup specifically to help cover this. And the determination was that actually we should just make sure that everything goes into the prize money for PAX, because if you think about it, once you qualify, you are, the way we've structured it is, you are guaranteed to get money by going. Okay, so even though we're not saying, hey, you qualified at the Pro League stage at the end of September, therefore here is some money. No, what we're saying is you've qualified, and at the end of going to PAX, you will get money. So it's a matter of timing of when you get the money, but you're going to get money, and so it can't. Yeah, you're not going to be expenses paid in that sense, but you will get prize money guaranteed. So that's how it's covered.
Yeah, so it's essentially covered retroactively, I guess is a way to say it.
Yeah, sort of. We decided to pour more money into the overall prizing because we knew that any teams that are traveling are going to get prize money guaranteed. So it's kind of buffered in that sense. And the other thing to point out is that as our scene grows and we have, it's fantastic that we have pro esports organizations backing teams. That's partly their job. The reason that teams like Avant-Garde exist is so that they can provide opportunities for their players to get to the LANs and get to the big tournaments and then win the money.
Mm-hmm. So they'll pay their way there. They'll get free access into PAX when they get to Melbourne, won't they? Because they've qualified for regionals.
We are going to provide for the qualified teams to get into PAX. They won't have to pay for their passes. Okay.
Sweet.
Another question that I think is actually I've just lost it. I had a question and so how many days is the regional qualifiers going to be over, and if it's less than the full 3 days of PAX, which days of PAX is it going to be on?
That's part of the planning and negotiation that is still ongoing with PAX, and I don't have an announcement about that yet.
Cool beans.
Can we get a rough time estimate on that? Because I know a lot of teams need to plan their way there early.
Just say all 3 days.
Yeah, I mean, if you're
3
going to make
days.
a plan to be there the whole time.
Yep.
But yeah, it's
even if you're not competing at PAX itself is a convention. You're gonna, if you've got the first day off and then you're playing the second 2 days, it's actually really good to go and experience PAX and the convention as a whole, because there's Supernova and Comic-Con are really, really kind of cool, and they're fun and then whatnot, and then you go to PAX, and PAX is just something else. So I would plan, even if you're not competing on day one, to go and enjoy PAX for day one.
The other thing about PAX is that, it's not really letting the cat out of the bag to say, because if you saw what we did with Smite last year at PAX, is that we expect to have some high-res talent there, and we expect to do some panels and different things. So even if you're just there for Smite, you're going to want to be there over a few days. But if you like games, you should probably go to PAX for 3 days anyway. It's awesome.
Yep.
Awesome. So, Any other questions coming through? Should we just go to like a short question time and then should we end the podcast there? Sound good?
Sound
Yeah.
good.
Cool. So
You guys got any more questions for us as well? Yons, Berzerk, is there anything you want to know from us? From the do you want to know anything from the chat as well? Because like this is a rare opportunity, especially for you guys, that you get to directly interface with a large portion of the community.
I'm reading the chat, and I'm more interested in people's questions and feedback.
cool. I've never been to PAX. I've never been either, and I'm so hyped for it. It's gonna be awesome.
It's really bad for Timmy though because he lives like half an hour, 3/4 of an hour away from the land, from the convention center. So
Wait, did you say it's really bad for Timmy because he lives there?
yeah, because he hasn't been to PAX and he lives down here.
Oh,
what the hell
okay,
is he
okay.
doing, Timmy?
I thought you meant,
Get
he
to
lives
PAX.
close. How unfortunate for him. I live across the sea. It's so far away. When will Knight grow a real beard? That's a good
Aw.
question. I'll grow it out. I trimmed it the other day, so it'll get there. Are all 8 teams getting played, or is that still open? What? Oh,
Yes,
paid.
it's still open. Yes, it's still open because it's between 4 and 8 teams at the moment. So we haven't decided how many teams are going to PAX because it relies on the layout of the PAX floor that we have, and what sort of space we have, and what type of format we're doing as well, and time scheduling and all that stuff.
So to
Yeah,
answer your
that's something still be worked out.
as long as you qualify for PAX, you're gonna get money. It just
Yep.
depends on how many teams qualify.
Yep.
No, that we can get in, like Berzerk and Yons said.
And the way Berzerk described it as well is like you may think there may be a team that the last place team at PAX, they may not win a game, and you might think, well, they don't deserve any money, they didn't win any games, but they had to fight their way to get there in the first place, which is no small feat. So, and all the hours and hard work and practice they put in, I mean, it's some reward for that at the very least. And being involved with one of the invitational ladder teams who's now in the Pro League, I know the amount of work that they go through to play at a high standard, and also the other teams like Avantgarde, Direwolves, Too Edgy, and all the other ones that have just joined in as well, like Silicon, Law Gaming, TCAM, and Synapse. I had to give them all a shout out, otherwise someone would hate me in the chat. I know the amount of effort and practice that those teams go through, and even like the open ladder teams as well. So you've got to respect that. They're working hard basically every day to play at a high level and to try and get themselves ready for not only the Pro League and not only PAX, but the World Championships as well.
And pride, and just being the best.
Exactly right.
That's cool.
Someone asked, where did it go? So basically, if you come last, the money you get back will be your plane tickets back there. Based on prize pooling of 50k, I assume so, but no, the distribution of that 50k will be announced at a later date.
Yeah, I think it's best to leave a little bit to the imagination for now. But you know what you're working with there, and if you look at the way prize pool breakdowns usually work, you can sort of make a good guess. I've got a giveaway. I got a
giveaway.
Let me just do a little giveaway right here.
Just while you're getting that ready, there's actually a pretty good question. I think it's been partially answered, but I think people would like this fully answered. So in season 1, they did the Odyssey contributing to the Smite World Championship prize pool. Is there a plan for Hi-Rez to come out with a special skin or a skin path where a portion of that money will go to the PAX prize pool? Or is 50k set in stone and not changing? So I think basically the question there is the crowdfunding going to continue to contribute to that prize pool, or is the amount set?
It's already been done throughout the whole year. Everything from the season passes to skin money, pretty much Hi-Rez will have a look at how much people buy on those things, and we get a percentage of that cut. So that might go up next year because of the community's grown, or it might stay. It depends on what Hi-Rez wants to do. But it's already been done throughout the whole year.
Yeah, the question of whether the Oceanic prize pool can get bigger is, I think, very unlikely. It's been set against a budget, so it's kind of, yeah. I mean, I'm not going to say never because they might change their minds, but that's sort of where it's at right now. The future is completely open, obviously beyond this event. And will there be a special skin? Well, last year we had Sydney Shredder, and
now we have Crikey Dial.
Crikey Dial kind of snuck in there in the summer of Smite, which is pretty cool. I haven't heard about a new skin, and I certainly couldn't confirm it now if there was one. But yeah, at this stage, I've got silly suggestions that I've made, and I'll keep making them. But
can we hear one?
Nothing.
Yes, give us your suggestions.
Oh well, should I share my suggestion? It's pretty silly.
Giles can probably make it happen in at least a mock-up.
It's Tiddalik from the Dreamtime mythology of the Australian Aborigines. He's the giant frog who drank all the water and made the Australian desert. So I kind of that's my idea for a skin or a new god. But yeah.
Would you make that a
That's just me shooting the breeze.
Guy that eats minions.
Bakasura.
Bakasura. Would you make it a Bakasura skin?
We're kind of theory crafting now.
Yeah.
Would we make it a Bakasura skin? Come on.
Oh, Giles just said in chat. Out Bacchus.
Out Bacchus.
Oh god. Well played, Giles.
All right, I'll send an email to HughZ tomorrow.
Okay, actually, yeah. Well, hang on. The only reason Giles is saying that is because he plays Barkus jungle.
He's good at it though.
Nice.
That's the scary thing. Alrighty.
Shall I do a giveaway before? If there's any last questions, we'll do it after the giveaway and then wrap up.
Yep, sure. Sounds good.
All right. So let me see if I can make sure people see this clearly. So I have one of these.
Yep, that is on screen.
So that's a Smite Ultimate God Pack.
Oh,
Alright.
yes.
So on the other side of this card, this physically printed card, which we will give away at different events, such as PAX, there is a code for an Ultimate God Pack if somebody needs one. So if you're quick, there it is.
GPB71B355BF650105.
I like how in the middle of that, Knightfall just called me his BF.
What?
Somebody's already put that in, I'm sure.
Hope someone was sitting there trying to get it in as quick as possible. If not, we'll see if someone gets it from the VOD or from YouTube.
I suspect that, with the quickness of typing skills that chat seems to possess, they'll more than likely it's gone by now.
Probably. So many people have logged in. Oh wow, Switch got it? Did he? I doubt it. That's probably a troll.
That's totally a troll. Damn it,
Is it?
Switch.
Yeah, there's a kappa. Okay.
I think that's Switch's.
Probably already had one for like start of
best,
the year.
best skill in Smite, isn't it? The troll skills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bring out the
Nice
troll
god.
god for Switch. It'll be Switch's only god.
Switch confirmed strongest god in OCE kappa. Any other questions come through? We'll do maybe like 2-3 more minutes of questions and then we'll wrap up.
Have any of you guys played the Xbox version yet?
Yes,
I did, yeah.
I've played a fair bit of it. It's good fun. I still
I'm
prefer the
probably going to play
PC.
Xbox more than not from now on. I really like it.
I found the transition between PC and Xbox really strange, but Xbox was still really fun. It's just, I guess, controller compared to keyboard and mouse is really strange, but yeah, Xbox is really fun. Definitely recommend it. Open beta started last week, was it?
Yeah. What controller configs do you like? I like the Savage one where you have all the triggers as your abilities.
I
I
had
haven't tried that one yet.
Yeah, I was just playing on my brother's Xbox and I played for like 3 or 4 games, but the abilities were set to AX, BY, and what's it? AXBY. Which was kind of strange because you have to aim with the right thumbstick and then push the buttons at the same time, so you can't really aim and then adjust and then ability and then you have to readjust.
Yeah, that's where the triggers come in as a bit better, I think.
Yeah.
And also that one puts your actives and consumables on the face, so it's a bit easy to get to them occasionally when you want them, rather than doing anything accidentally. Xbox.
If HughZ goes to PAX, will you walk around with no shirt and whipped cream on your nipples?
What?
Okay. Who asked that one?
Rob? Oh my god.
Oh,
I guess you could
Rob,
call him
if
Rob
you go to PAX, I'll do
Giggity.
it for you, baby.
You actually called him Rob Giggity today, Rank, when we were... That actually slipped through when we were casting. It was pretty funny. I sat there and I was like, was that intentional? I can't tell, but
It's okay. Timmy let an F-bomb drop at one point and chat totally didn't notice. I thought that was hilarious.
That's good.
HughZ, is the whipped cream skin your suggestion for the PAX exclusive?
Yeah, definitely. Like,
Which
you know,
god will be
why not?
wearing it?
Aphrodite. I mean, come on, is there another choice?
So you're Aphrodite, so we're going to see Aphrodite with a beard and a cap.
I
and
mean, you know, this is the age of accepting
Good.
everyone. You know,
Yeah.
no matter race, creed, color, gender, or sexuality. So why not?
yeah, well, it's all kinds of love. I think that's
Exactly
fantastic.
right. Exactly right.
There you go. Isn't that a warm and fuzzy and inclusive thing?
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
I can't even anymore.
Rank
Just
confirmed
laughing at
dead.
Frank calling it.
Okay. I think shall we end it there? With Rank dying, I think that's a good place to end.
I killed Rankonius.
So
I would be the
I
first
think
one
most
buying
of you
the
guys
skin.
know how to reach me, and so I wanted to say actually just generally like thank you and congratulations both to all of you guys and the whole community for coming together and being generally a very positive community. I see people talking about BMing on the Facebook page, which is I find a bit funny. I guess it's sort of between certain groups, but really overall it's a great community. I'm really pleased with how everyone's going, and I look forward to seeing how the teams go, and all of the team managers know how to find me. And if you haven't got my direct contact, please ask for it. I want to help you out and make sure that you have social media and skins and things to do and giveaways and raising the profile. So and you guys as admins like Tony, Josh, Hugh, Scott, Giles, Steve from Team Down TV, and everybody else who works so hard to just as a community make sure that things click and work is absolutely admirable. And this is how these things happen. So well done to you guys.
And I could definitely attest to the support that you've put, like, as part of Citadel Gaming. Like, we run our top 5 plays, and you provided us with a wealth of skin codes for our giveaways for when we do that, and then also for giveaways on Twitter and stuff. I'm sure Rank can speak from that from a Silicon perspective. I know lots of the other teams, all the goodies you've given us basically to give away and to not only grow the Smite scene, but that helps grow our organizations as well, is tremendous.
I'd like to also point out that a lot of us do this voluntarily. We just put the time in and the effort, and we don't get anything back except the happiness to see how successful it is. In 50k prize pool and a spot at Worlds, that's something to be happy about.
Yeah, that's definitely something. Next time any of you guys on the ladders or playing games have a complaint about an admin, remember those guys are doing it for free, and you guys could be getting the cash. So
To the Reddit.
be good to them. They're looking after you.
we do our best, and it seems like everyone is doing their best here now. HughZ as well with their awesome contribution, and thank you very much, Berzerk, for coming onto the podcast and
It was my
coming
pleasure.
with us. Thank you also, Yons, for joining us as well. Awesome. So that will be it wrapped up here from all of us here at the Deoceide podcast. There's Rankonius and HughZ as well joining us today. And I have been Knightfall. It's time to say it. Rank, I'm going to steal your line.
Oh, no!
It's goodbye for now, but not forever. We'll see you later.
I'm ruined. I'm ruined.
Bye, guys.
See ya.